grunts and buckles and betties have in common with a peach cobbler? Well, they're all desserts that are in the clump cake family. If you haven't heard of clump cakes, they really appear more rustic than elegant. In fact, the French call them poupetons, which translates to something not too delectable called mess in the pan. Well, the one recipe that we're making today is a simple cobbler made with peaches, but you can also make cobblers with plums and nectarines, summer mixed berries, apples, pears, or whatever. Or try different combinations of fruit. You really can't go wrong. The recipe is, as I said, quite simple. This is a biscuit top cobbler, and we're going to just finish cutting up the peaches. They're juicy, they're fragrant, they're ripe, but they're not overripe, and that's what you want for a cobbler. Don't think that you can just use leftover fruit or fruit that's not at its prime, because the better the fruit, the fresher the fruit, the more fragrant, the better the cobbler. And you need 10 peaches that have been sliced up like this, and of course remove the pits. All of these peaches come from a place called Pearson Farm, and that is in Fort Valley, Georgia. And once you have your 10 peaches all sliced like this, add to the bowl approximately 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Don't add too much because you don't want glue juice. You want kind of beautiful, just slightly thickened juice. And just 2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. Not a lot of sugar either. And if you like, you can add a little bit of ground cinnamon. No more, though, than about 1/2 teaspoon. You can add cinnamon to peaches. You can add nutmeg to plums. And to nectarines, I'd add a little bit of lemon peel and a little bit of lemon juice. So let this sit for a little while. The juices will start to run because of the sugar, and then the cornstarch will help thicken those juices. Now, did you know that a cobbler is a baked fruit dessert that either has a top or a bottom crust, but never has both? We're going to do this particular cobbler with a topping of big, plump, fluffy biscuits. And we're going to first start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And again, because this is kind of biscuity, you want to make sure that the baking powder that you're using is active, fresh, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you can stir this up. Mix all those dry ingredients together. And very quickly cut into the flour 6 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter. And I've already cut it up. It's really good to do this ahead of time. And just keep it in the freezer or the refrigerator so that you're making a very cold mixture here. And now this is not a lot of butter either, so work quickly and try to get those pieces incorporated throughout the dry ingredients. And there we have that. It's like coarse meal, typical pastry or biscuit dough. Now you can put this into the refrigerator covered and just keep it cold until you're ready to make your cobbler. We need 1 egg. And mix that right into 2/3 cup of heavy cream. You can just break it up with a fork. And now just stir this into the flour. The cream and the egg should also be cold. Don't overmix this. Just incorporate the dry ingredients. So you see, very biscuity, very nice. The cobbler dough could be rolled out and cut with a biscuit cutter, and you could use those biscuits as little short cakes if you like. And the only difference that I know between a cobbler and a shortcake is really the fruit baked in a cobbler and fresh in a shortcake. So there, that's just ready. And now we'll just put the fruit in the baking dish. You can butter the dish a little bit if you like, if you want that extra little flavor. But if you're a little calorie conscious, you can just pile the fruit in the dish. Notice the nice juices. A lot of people's cobblers get really stiff. The fruit is too stiff, so be really careful about the amount of flour or tapioca or cornstarch that you use in the fruit. You could add some blueberries to this. Even some Bing cherries pitted would be very nice. And divide the dough into 8 pieces. And now sprinkle about 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar on top of your biscuits. This gives a little crunch and just an extra little bit of sweetness. And now pop this right into a 375-degree oven for approximately 45 minutes. You'll see the juices bubbling underneath the biscuit topping. Now this wonderful cobbler is delicious when accompanied by a heaping spoonful of whipped cream, or if you're an ice cream lover, you could add a big dollop of ice cream. And it's so easy to serve. You could also make these cobblers, if you like this biscuit topping, in individual dishes and serve them right from the oven in the individual baking dish. But I really and truly like it served like this out of a big dish. And add a little bit of whipped cream. And the reason that a cobbler has been around for hundreds of years, probably because it tastes so good. The proof is in the pudding. Do you ever have a craving for iced coffee and all you have is freshly brewed, boiling hot coffee? Well, if you want to make iced coffee, especially in a pretty glass or any glass, always insert a silver spoon right into the ice. Then pour in the hot liquid. The silver acts as a conductor of heat and absorbs all the excess heat, preventing the glass from cracking. Now just stir in a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cream or milk. Give it a stir. A silver spoon is a conductor of heat. It's a good thing.